It says live. And I love it. I tried this earlier. I couldn't get on. I'm on now. The computer did its ever so faithful hiccup. This is Max Rants. I'm Max, a few minutes late because of technical difficulties beyond my control. It's time to rant like a son of a bitch. Let me get into it without any maybes. We're talking about Zelensky. We're talking about Europe. We're talking about how they pretty well suck. Okay, the European Union got together and had this meeting. They patted each other on the back. They shot their empty cannons, so to speak. Zelensky turned right around and had to beg the U.S. But understand, Zelensky begged the U.S. only after he had attacked President Trump, calling him everything but a white man. That's an expression, don't get offended. You understand this? The U.S.A. is a lot smarter than Europe or Canada or Zelensky think. After he badmouthed Trump and came to him and said, "Come help me." What the hell is wrong here? After the Ukrainian president was thrown out of the White House, remember he got that into the fight with Donald Trump, got his ass tossed out. He ran to the European Union and they gave him sort of a faux, if you will. That means not real. Welcome. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, he made the trip. And are you ready? Verbally promised Ukraine $20 billion to fight on against Russia. My magic question is, where in the hell is Canada ever going to come across $20 billion? No chance in hell. Hang on, there we go. My computer is still scrolling for me. I hate this computer. I'll be buying a new one next week. Take it to the bank. Okay, question again. Where's Canada going to get $20 billion? Then British Prime Minister Stammer agreed to lend Ukraine $3 billion, but he said Europe would have to defend Ukraine by putting peacekeeping troops in place. You hear that? British Prime Minister said, all of Europe, if you will put peacekeepers in between Ukraine and Russia, we'll lend Ukraine, not give, $3 billion. Well, after a couple of days of hugging and shaking hands and kissing mutual ass, European leaders came up with what they called a tentative solution. This is the European plan. If it doesn't make you sick, nothing does. Leading the discussion were France and Britain. They proposed a 1-month unilateral ceasefire. They determined that Europe would not send any peacekeeping troops, not in the near future. They don't want to send any Britons, any Frenchmen, any Germans, nobody. Just get this 1-month ceasefire into effect. Loan them $3 billion. Give them $20 billion. Where in the hell is Canada going to get $20 billion? Anyway, I guess they could sell more Molson and hockey sticks and hockey pucks, raise some of the money. Well, this lukewarm pseudo decision marked the end of a more than 2-day war of words between European leaders, Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau, and Ukraine's Zelensky. You understand? If they just say, stop, you think Russia's going to listen? They're going to say, stop Russia, stop Ukraine. Hell, Zelensky likes this war. He's making a fortune on it. If they say stop, he won't stop. Trump was right, and Zelensky started the damn thing. That's in another broadcast. So these people in this big meeting, this 3-day junket, 4-star hotels, 4-star restaurants, they knew that slogans and stale rhetoric are useless. That's why they've decided that they want to draw the United States into this, get them heavily involved. Polish Prime Minister Tusk, there's a Polak for you, is among those determined to drag America into a shooting war. He wants America to have boots on the ground here. Of course, he's the same jerk that asked for nukes last month. Right, Mr. Polish man. So Tusk said something that summed up the meeting all too well, even for his liking. Here's what he said. He said, you have 500 million Europeans asking 300 million Americans to protect them from 140 million Russians. Yeah, it's not happening. Trump's nobody's fool. The U.S. will never put ground troops. They'll never put any boots on the ground. You know why? It's because it's not America's frickin' war. That's why. Trump posted a message saying, I'm going to try to read the quote here, we should spend less time worrying about Putin and more time worrying about immigrant rape gangs, drug lords, murderers, and people from mental hospitals entering our country so that we won't be a country. We'll be like Europe, end quote. Exactly. Europe is falling apart. My God. England, France, Germany, they just opened the doors and said, come on in. We don't care who you are. Radical Islam, come on down. First world mud-sucking black man from the islands, come on down. People whose only morals are kill, 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 come on down. We will not be like that. Trump will not allow it. Listen to his last words again. He said, okay, people from mental hospitals entering our country, we won't let it happen because we won't be like Europe. Europe, without the United States, your whole plan, everything you have is, as my wife says, a plate of loose sand. You have no foundation. You're saying, bring in Zelensky, a pirate and unelected dictator. Bring in Putin, a vicious leader and dictator as well. Let them get into a war with each other. Fight, 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 fight. They're not threatening Poland, Romania, or any of their neighboring countries. They're not doing it. So you know what? I say, leave them alone. Let them go at their own devices. Whatever happens will happen. And by giving them billions and billions and hundreds of billions of dollars is only extending a war that Ukraine cannot possibly win. Did you know the kill ratio right now is 11-1? That means for every one Russian who dies, 11 Ukrainians die. You cannot possibly sustain such a war. You're getting your asses kicked. America's giving you money. And of course, Zelensky is buying properties on the Riviera and a casino in Macau. Gee whiz, he must have a really good salary. Or maybe it's the fact that when we give him tanks and planes, he sells half of them to neighboring countries like Romania, like, to Budapest government, to former Czech Republic. I mean, God help me. What's wrong here? We give this man hundreds of billions, ask for no receipts. And the smart one was England saying, we'll lend you, loan, $3 billion. America has got to stop giving this bastard money. Again, this is a rehash of what's been hashed, but it came to me from a great source. And all I can say is, hang in there, America. Hang in there, world. This will, if we leave it alone, this war between Zelensky and Putin, it'll burn down all on its own.